Yeah, kind of one of the things that we talked about at the beginning, but I'm not making any subtle suggestions or anything, but
Okay.
the Heat do play tonight
Yep.
in TD Garden for the
Yep.
first game. And all I'm saying is we put the one seed away in 5 games, and then we put the Knicks away in 6 games, and it took you 7 to beat the worst city in America. So I don't know if I'd be as confident going into this series if I were you guys. And also, you got the best of us last year. We're smarter, we're harder, and we're ready to fix the mistakes we made in Game 7 last year to probably come through in what I'm imagining will most likely be a Game 7 this year.
Probably,
So,
yeah.
but I've been practicing some moves so that I can return the favor and
Okay.
dance on your grave this year.
I got some moves saved up too, so we'll figure it out when the time comes. We'll cross that bridge. And that's the thing. If you get the dance, then I deserve it because that was a little unprompted last year. I'll admit. I'll admit.
Yeah, it was
I'll admit. Yeah.
you dancing on my
I
grave
th-
before they'd even, put me in the ground yet. It was a bit premature.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Smalls back again on another edition of The Vault, the weekly show from Thoughts on the Bench. It takes a look back at some of the best and worst jerseys in sports. With me, as always, is my main man, Mr. Benny Buckets. How's it going, dude?
It's going well, man. I'm happy to be here. Weather's good. We got Eastern Conference basketball
Yep.
tonight. The Eastern and Western Conference finals are in the NHL are happening
Yep.
right now. Um, mini camps for football are starting up. So in the sports world, things are good. I'm
Yep.
getting to do a show with you. It's a good
Always
day.
good. Yeah, always good. I will be. I got to put a little disclaimer for the game tonight. I won't be watching, but I'm going to the one thing that I won't. It's really one of the only things that I think I would miss game one of the rematch between the Heat and Celtics for. I'm going to Blink 182, which is like my favorite artist of all time. So,
Which is understandable. When
yeah,
it's your favorite band, and especially a band of that magnitude,
yeah,
I don't think anybody's gonna crap on you for
yeah,
that.
yeah. So, but otherwise, I'd be watching. I'll probably be. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably not gonna check my phone until after the concert. But uh, I game two, I'll be right there watching every single minute of it because we were talking about it before the show. This is gonna be it's gonna be a really good series. I think I said the same thing. We both said the same thing last year. Like it's gonna
Yeah,
be
you just knew
yeah
going into it
yeah
that it's gonna be a barn burner.
yeah
Like because both teams have a great balance of grit and finesse
yes
to where it's like the ball movement's beautiful, but they're also going to play tough and
yep
put a body on somebody. And I don't know. To me, these are arguably two of the most fun teams to watch from the
I
entire
agree
NBA this year.
yeah
So I feel like that makes for a fun series. And
yeah
last year, it wasn't supposed to go 7, and it did, and it
yep
ended in dramatic fashion. And it made for, no matter who you were a fan of, one of the most entertaining series in basketball in the last 20 years. So
yep
I think that we could potentially be in store for that again. And even if, say, the series ends in 5 or 6 games for either side, I think that it would be like close games every game. You know what I mean? Like even if like one team's getting the better of the other,
yep
like I think that I'll put a little over under bet for us just between the two of
okay
us.
okay
I think there's one or less blowouts.
yes
Like 15 or more point differences.
yep
I think there's one, if not zero, in the series where there's more than a 15-point difference.
yeah
In my opinion.
yeah no I there might be two, and I think it'd be split going both ways. Just because, I mean, you saw what Tatum did to the Sixers. He just eviscerated them in Game 7. And Jimmy is clearly capable of doing just that. So I
Yeah,
think if
having 56 points against Giannis
yes,
and the Bucks in a game 5 to kill
mm-hmm,
them in Milwaukee
yep,
is like they both are able to put and what Tatum had most points in game 7 history, like no
yeah,
one's ever dropped that
no
many
one's ever
points in
done
game
it.
7.
Yep,
And it's like and they both got good supporting cast like we were
yeah,
talking about kind of in the intro, but they still are able to put the team on their back if the supporting cast isn't showing up.
yeah,
And that's what I think is important is both teams have great role players and they've got great leaders that are able to take over a game, and that's going to make for a dope series. Even
mm-hmm,
though obviously I'm pulling one way, and I'm hoping that things go the way that they need to because we got to get that Heat culture, baby. But and honestly, I'm kind of playing the tugging on the heartstrings of American basketball fans to
mm-hmm,
where because and even though Brown and Tatum they haven't won one on their own, the
yep,
Celtics have the most NBA titles
and I get
in the
that. Yeah,
history of the sport,
yeah,
and the Heat, even though we won some, it's still been 10 years,
mm-hmm.
and everybody can root for this
Himothy,
guy.
Himothy, Himothy.
Everybody can root for Hemi Butler.
Yep,
Okay, everybody wants to see that guy get one,
yeah,
and I hope he does before the end of his career. I don't want him to jump ship to have to do it,
mm-hmm,
but if he does, and I think you and I asked you before, like just like if the Celtics don't go because that's your team,
yep,
like are you rooting for Jimmy to a point? And I feel like
100%. Yeah,
for people whose teams aren't in it anymore, or for people whose teams that are in it that won't make it,
mm-hmm,
I think that's kind of like agreed upon by true basketball fans.
yep.
Is like, hey, if it's not my team, I'm rooting for Jimmy. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And I obviously I love that because I'm not trying to sound like a hipster, but I've been with him since before anybody liked
You
him,
have. I
and
know you have. Yeah.
I was being told in 10th grade, I was being told he's never going to get a shoe deal. He's never going to be better than the third best player on a roster and all this stuff. And he's turned into be a league superstar.
Yeah.
So I love that he's getting that kind of respect. But I know that the Celtics are the best, in my opinion, the best overall team
Team.
left
Yep.
because to me, the Nuggets are kind of Murray and all Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
And then even the Lakers, I get that like people are hyping up Lonnie Walker. He had 2 good games. Okay, let's
Mm-hmm.
pump the brakes on that. You have LeBron and AD.
Yep.
Whereas even though there is the big 2 of Tatum and Brown, I still think that those other pieces, like we were talking about with the Williams, with Derek White, with
Yep.
Marcus Smart, with Malcolm Brogdon, like you guys have a very complete team. So that scares me a little bit
Mm-hmm.
going into it. But to me, and this, I know that maybe I should bite my tongue because if we do make it through, those teams in the Western Conference aren't necessarily a joke.
Yeah.
But I'm more nervous for how we match up against the Celtics than I am either team that comes out of the West.
Oh, 100%. No, I think. I mean, yeah, I already said it, and you already alluded to it too. Like, if it's not the Celtics, I want Jimmy to get one because he has been. I think really until he got to Miami, he was just seen as the cancer in the locker room, probably unfairly. He wants to win. He had that MJ drive of just wanting to win and probably beat some of his teammates down in other places. But I mean, that's the guy tries to win. That's what he's there to do. And
he's potentially Michael Jordan's kid.
that too.
That
That too.
that
Yeah.
is the
It's
jury's
a theory.
still out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any evidence to say otherwise. Let me put it that way.
right.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe the paternity test is in the possession of Bigfoot right now,
Yeah.
and it's another secret that guy's hoarding from the
There
rest
we
of us.
go. There we go. But yeah, dude, when I feel like it's super nice to see him get to Miami, and he is finally the guy, and
Yes.
it's clear that there were other issues wherever he was at. There have always been other issues holding those teams back. I don't think it's been him, and it's super cool seeing him go somewhere where that's finally you can see it. Like
Right.
he's a dog. Like that's why I love players like him and Jaylen Brown because they're just dogs. Like they go after
Right.
it, and they don't talk that much. It's all just you're gonna go out and try to prove it. And that's why
and especially like I like the guys that have kind of bounced around and then you watch them like find their home
Yep.
to a point.
Yep.
And it's like because Jimmy, everybody thought okay he's going to take over the Bulls for Derrick Rose, then they ship him out of town. He goes to Minnesota. He has issues with teammates and coaches there. They ship him to Philly. We think the Philly's got a championship roster, and then they have to decide who they're going to keep out of a couple guys, and they let Jimmy walk. Jimmy signs a big deal in Miami, and then he becomes the guy there. And I think it's cool, obviously, because that's been my favorite current player since he got in the league, and he went to my favorite team,
Yep.
which is like a match made in heaven for me as a basketball fan. But like I love, and it's not even just him, but I like seeing guys like find their niche when they didn't necessarily have that other places they were in the league. We kind of saw that with like Victor Oladipo when he was
Yep.
with the Pacers for a bit,
Mhm.
and now he's on the Heat, injured now, of course. But like stories like that and scenes like that where they finally get to break away and become the guy and get the support that they probably should have had from the beginning, but
Yep.
they're just in the right situation to do it now.
Mhm.
And that's like, I don't know if a Jaylen Brown would be appreciated the same way if he played in Sacramento or
I
if he
know.
played in Orlando. Like
Mhm.
him being in Boston, I feel like fits him well right
Mhm.
now. And it's just cool to see that happen.
Yeah. It would be so cool to see Al Horford get one too. I'm a big Al Horford fan. I text you all the time about Rob Williams, dude. I love
Yeah,
Rob Williams, dude.
that is true. I have the receipts.
Yep.
I have
Yeah.
proof of Smalls being
Mhm.
big Robert Williams advocate.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that Marcus Smart was any poorer of a player over the past few years. I feel like Marcus Smart has really come into his own, especially in this playoff run. He's doing a lot more this time around. He has shown that he can score. He's shooting the ball well, which last year every time he pulled up from three, I'm like cringing a little bit, but he's hitting it this year.
Yeah,
And
he's more locked in, and I'll tell you one thing that I feel like goes under the radar about him is he's passing the ball very well right
oh
now.
yeah,
Like to
yeah.
where I'm not saying that like his assist totals are through the roof,
Mhm.
but him giving like the lead pass, like that,
Mhm.
like cutoff pass where it's him to somebody else and then a bucket. Like he's playmaking
Mhm.
more so this year rather than just being a perimeter defender,
Yeah.
and he's also following opponents to the basket now, where it's not just stay like he'll go down in the paint if who
Yep.
he's guarding goes down in the paint. He's not just letting it be a switch.
Mhm.
Like he's playing more complete basketball,
Yep.
and it's cool to see. He's come a long way from punching people in the stands at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that part is cool to see. And dude, you guys have had somebody winning some trophy for a couple of years now,
Mhm.
because last year he was Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
This year you had Malcolm Brogdon as
Brogdon,
Sixth
yep.
Man of the Year, who was arguably one of the smartest pickups in the last 5 years by
Yeah.
any team. He
Yeah.
fits you guys so well, and he's a starter that you're getting to put on the bench
Yeah.
and bring off the bench and get the most out of his minutes. And that's
Mhm.
arguably one of the most brilliant plays I've seen by an organization for a long time.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
and credit to Coach Missoula for taking
Yep.
over that whole mess because of Udoka
Yeah.
having the.
Ime, yeah.
We're not
not
going to
gonna
get
talk about
into
it,
it,
yeah.
but that whole situation happened for Missoula just to kind of come in and maintain the success that the team
Mhm.
had. Because really, it's like when you're walking into a successful program, your biggest goal is to not mess it up.
Mhm.
But like you also have to be your own coach. You got to
Yep.
be your own
And
person.
he's done that,
So
yeah.
that's all. Right, and it's a hard balance, but he's done it, and he's obviously gotten them to the Eastern Conference Final doing
Mhm.
that. So
Mhm.
my hat's off to the Celtics, but also right now because
I
we
know.
are in a series
I
now.
get it.
Respectfully, I gotta.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I get it. I get it. But yeah, it'll be a fun series. So we'll get into it in a sec. The only thing I wanted to bring up, I am sorry for if I made you feel left out when we were in Kansas City, because I know I texted you a few times. I
No,
just
dude.
wish you would have been there,
was, if
dude.
anything, I did have a little bit of what do they call it? What's the thing now?
FOMO, that's what the kids say nowadays.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
That thing. I was like, man, I wish I was physically able to go, but I was very happy that you got to have that experience. And
Yeah.
I was just as much texting you because
Mhm.
I was kind of living vicariously
Mm-hmm.
through you guys not
Mm-hmm.
being able to be there. So
Yeah.
I'm obviously super bummed that that wasn't able to happen. But you guys had a blast and being
Mm-hmm.
able to like see. And you went all 3 days, right?
Yeah.
You went like
All,
each day.
well, yeah, we
So
weren't at the draft on day two. Mostly just because of weather. Not that it was bad. We were just like we don't want to get caught in a storm out there. So, but where we ended up going, I'm not gonna get into it too much. But they have this area in KC where it's just like essentially just a giant complex with a bunch of bars and then a big open area in the middle, and it's all covered. And they have a giant screen with the stage that they had the draft on anyway, and everyone there was there for the draft. So like even the day that we weren't there, it still felt like we were there. So
yeah.
it was so that was cool. We had we as a group we placed a few bets that hit pretty good, and
Okay.
we
Like
kept
on draft order type stuff?
no,
Or
just like just gambling on sports in general.
okay.
Yeah, we hit a Connor McDavid first goal scorer right away.
All
I
right.
was also gambling on XFL, which I know is a DGen move for sure. But hey, I've bet on Arlington Renegades money line twice, and I kept that going after we got back from KC, and it's hit. So I'm a big Renegade fan now. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, it probably
They just
only
won, didn't they? Didn't they
yeah,
win the
exactly.
XFL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just won at plus 250, I think I hit, which isn't like crazy, but for a month they were 4-6 playing against a 9-1 team, and I was like, whatever,
Yeah,
I'm riding it.
and depending on how much you put on plus 250, I
Yeah,
mean that's still a good bet.
yeah,
There's people who are still putting bets on minus 250
mm-hmm.
and celebrating it.
Yeah,
So, I think that's a win to be celebrated.
yeah, yeah. But the McJesus first goal scorer,
That's huge.
we hit that
That's
same
huge.
bet this past weekend too. Just as a group in the grooming, we're like, yeah, we're riding this until we can't anymore. So. Do that,
It's a
Connor
damn
McDavid.
shame he can't be the guy
Yeah.
because they got bounced by
Well, yeah, because they don't want to
Vegas for
spend
God's sake.
money on a goaltender. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah,
But we
you got
won't.
Swiss cheese in that.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? That's fine because I'm sick of the comparisons to Sid already.
Mm,
He can keep losing in the second round. That's fine.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, Canada. They'll never get it, dude. I love it. I love it.
Silly country.
Silly country. All right, Benny. Let's get into it. I'll hit the ad read this week real quick. So as always, this show is brought to you by Marshall Fitness. Um, it's run by Will Marshall. It's an online personal training resource. Will takes you through every step of the process. He makes different stages of his program too, so you can kind of build up. He is a recipe book, which I've already made a few things out of that were awesome. He gives you nutritional advice without hovering too, so the whole thing is great. He has his own app. He really knows what he's doing. I'm feeling pretty good for the wedding here in a few weeks, and it's all because of Will. So, Willie, love you, man. Everyone go check out Marshall Fitness. Best time to start is now. Benny, we're doing European basketball this week. It's a very niche topic, but I'm excited for it
It is.
because I feel like European basketball teams can get away with a lot more than NBA teams because it's just different.
Yes, because it's like I know that I kind of already displayed, but you look at like even though this is like the home jersey, this is very simple,
Yeah.
right? It's white with the logo on it and the numbers there. Whereas and then even in the most recent years here, they've got like the
Yeah.
sponsors and stuff
Yeah.
like that, which I wish wasn't the case, but it is what it is. Whereas in most European sports, as you know, I mean, anybody who's ever watched European soccer, that's the most important thing is
Mm-hmm.
whoever the sponsor is. So you kind of see that a little bit in European basketball, but it is like, who gives a shit? Because it's not the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, yeah, they can. There's some wild ones. I think my last pick is like, and I'll get into it, but it's like you would never see it on an NBA team, and if you did, they'd be laughed out of the arena. You know.
Right.
But it is cool too because European basketball kind of follows the same system as soccer over there. They have promotion and relegation, which aka you can't tank in European basketball, which is weird.
Right, you
You
get like
know?
a punishment for
Yeah,
that, which
yeah,
to me, I don't hate.
yeah. I know.
You know,
Yeah, no, it's kind of cool, dude. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever get into European basketball unless I really go down the degenerate gambling hole. But
well, just stay friends with Denny. You'll get there.
there we go. Yeah, as always. Uh, all right, Benny. Let's get rolling. What do you got for pick number one?
Okay, so first one, AS Monaco, not a good start. Um, I don't really know where else to go with these other than it is very television show esque in terms of the font and the colors, but just the weird diagonal slash color split between the red and the white, and then the like blue sponsor underneath the
Yeah.
numbers, like across the belly button, just doesn't make any sense to me. And I love the team pictures. I love that in every like basketball team picture when people just have the hands on their knees separated. Super weird, but just a cliche for sports pictures for whatever reason. So this one kind of made me laugh a little bit, but it just is like you didn't need to put the slash with a white chunk on the jersey. You could have just left it red and white. You didn't need to put the sponsor super wide across the belly button there. It's just a lot of unnecessary things. It's not even like the worst thing ever. It's just kind of bizarre to a point where it's like they're not even doing anything that out of the ordinary. It's just enough to make me scratch my head a little
hmm
bit.
Well, yeah. So this is and this is kind of a theme too. A lot of these teams are owned by the soccer clubs over there. So they're
Right.
and AS Monaco is a perfect example of that. I think they're in the French league. Which, by the way, what is up
They
with
are.
Monaco as a country? Like it's its own thing. It's in France, but like it's its own thing. I
But
don't
it's
I don't get
treated
it.
as its own thing. They got
Yeah,
a nice racetrack over there.
they
That's
do.
all I know.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's true. But yeah, the slash I think on the soccer team's jerseys, it works a little better because it kind of looks like this to a point. But the fact that they have Monaco real big and then also the same sponsor that the club has down below in addition to the team name is weird. You know?
Yeah, it just like they could have made it like up here or
Yep.
even like they could have just put the sponsor and removed Monaco and just done like a crest or something,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. It's just those two together sandwiching the numbers doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and they tried to make it look like the soccer team jersey too with the slash. I feel like if you're gonna do it, make it a little different, I guess.
Right.
But I mean, it's a good first pick. I think it kind of sets everything up pretty well. So we'll move on to my first pick. Um, I got Real Madrid in Spain. Had to rep my boy Luca here. So obviously Real Madrid, one of the biggest soccer teams in the world, one of the biggest clubs in the world. This is almost just a straight up copy paste of a Real Madrid jersey, except basketball. They cut the sleeves off. It's the same thing. The cyan color is kind of cool. I'll give him that. But it's a very plain, very classic looking jersey. It just, again, it's the European look with the ad underneath of it. That just it. I don't know if I'll get used to that. At least not on these ones. But again, it's a carbon copy of the soccer club. But Luca was over there, and he was a dog over there. So I had to give Luca a shout out. But yeah, Real Madrid, a very fine looking basketball uniform. But I kind of like the little cyan accent.
I agree. Also, call back to season one. Cyan is my favorite printer cartridge.
Yes,
And then also, dude behind Luca, I want to say that that's Maurice Spates,
I was
but
yeah.
whoever that is, I can't So anybody who's watching, if you do know who that is, let me know. I think it might be Maurice Bates, but whoever it is, he definitely played in the NBA for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just can't remember exactly who that is, but I could be right. I'm just not 100% sure. But
Yeah.
regardless, yeah, I mean the logo I feel like of Real Madrid is pretty recognizable for most
Mm-hmm.
people who even just generally know soccer because they're one of those worldwide known clubs.
Yep.
And for them to kind of put it or how you stated before that a lot of these it's like the soccer clubs own
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
But these are clean. They're
Mm-hmm.
white. Even the logo isn't necessarily obnoxious like
Yep.
the sponsorship. I still don't like it necessarily. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like that on anything other than like cars, I guess, like for
Yeah.
racing and stuff. But like in terms of uniforms, I don't like that anywhere. Like I wish most soccer teams were able to put their own logo bigger somewhere and let these sponsors be a badge or something like they do for the NBA jerseys. But overall, pretty clean, and the white and the cyan do mix well together. So,
Mm-hmm.
and again, like you said, Luca, dog.
Dog.
So, he should just come to the Heat, and then he would actually get to win something. So,
Yeah.
but I think this is a good pick.
Yeah, I also have to give a shout out to boy band hair Luca back in the day too, because like, yeah,
True.
yeah. Also, the fact that they just have what is it, Universidad Europea, just Europe University, kind of
Yep.
funny, dude. Kind
Yeah.
of funny. All right, Benny, what do you got for pick two?
All right. So
Try to say it. How
I'm
do
not.
you pronounce it?
I was just gonna say I'm not even gonna try. We should make Elsas try to spell this
Mm,
without showing him this. Like he's not allowed to see this because he's illiterate. So we should definitely try and make him spell this at some point. But pronouncing it might even be harder.
mm-hmm.
Panathinaikos.
That sounds right.
Bullshit. Greece. So I think that's what the BS is for, because that's what these uniforms are. I love the picture, the team picture, and how they're taking it is the selfie and everything is hilarious. It's very seventh grade basketball, and I love it. But the uniforms just aren't that good. I get the approach of like what they were kind of trying to do, but like the numbers being a different font from everything else and being right at the crest of the collar,
Mm-hmm.
and then like a weird like multi-ribbed clover silhouette in the background
Mm-hmm.
with their team sponsor slapped right on the stomach is just kind of weird to me. And then with like the weird stripes on the side that don't correlate with anything. Like I understand with branding and things like that with these being Adidas jerseys, but like they just don't look good at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't really have anything else to add, I guess, other than that. But there's so many elements that don't make sense to me, and it's just not good.
Yeah.
Not good. Panathinaikos bullshit, Greece.
Uh, the the stencil lettering, like the font for the numbers, is weird. I don't know if they did that on purpose.
I don't know if it's prison-esque or like Steeler font. I can't really tell either
I think it
way.
might just be the Home Depot font, if we're being honest, dude.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Doom,
Dun,
dun,
dun, yep.
ting, ting.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. But yeah, I didn't really know what to think of these whenever you sent them to me. So, and this is, I guess we should. I didn't say bad or good. We're just talking European basketball.
Yes,
You know.
it's just highlighting things that we've seen.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and this is another soccer club that just happens to have a basketball team associated with it, right? But like, yeah, the Shamrock is weird. They just could have done better with it, I think.
Right, like
You
it's
know.
like, why does it need to be like just a lighter green and like with all these silhouettes within each other like Russian nesting dolls? There's no point to do that. Be on your stomach behind a fat weird horizontal logo. It just,
Yeah,
yeah, man, not
yeah,
with it.
yeah. The three stripes kind of make them look like practice jerseys too, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
Um, I,
I agree, and like the fact that they go down onto the
yeah,
shorts also, but there's a disconnect. Like if you see,
Yeah.
like on the dude that's wearing number 5, like there's a disconnect between those. So it's like,
What are
why
we
two
doing here?
separate sets of vertical stripes on your side? It's weird to me, man.
Yeah, you also said the seventh grade basketball team selfie. It just made me think of whenever I don't know why. I think it's probably because Jake Fellow had them, but the Reebok,
Jake
yeah,
Fellow.
he had the Reebok Zig Tech basketball shoes, and I always thought like those were the weirdest looking things ever, dude. And I don't know why my mind went to that, but like
Yeah, shout out Jake Fellow.
yeah,
That's
dude.
not one I was
It's a
expecting
pull.
to ever have on here, but
Yeah,
that's wild.
yeah.
Listen, we that's a full circle show
Oh
from
yeah.
like 13 years ago.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah. All right. We'll go to my second pick here. I got Alba Berlin in Germany. So if I'm being honest, I don't really hate these that much. Uh, Again, this is one of those where I think European basketball can kind of get away with a little more. I think this is a good example of that, where like this is not what I would think of as like a basketball jersey, but I think it kind of works. It has kind of like a slim look to it. The colors are super crisp. The blue and yellow, I think, actually goes super well together. I also kind of like the design on the side. Again, you're never going to see this in the NBA, but it kind of they did it where it's not overwhelming and it's just on like the sides of it. I think it's kind of a nice touch. Also, Kazoo is a hilarious name for a rental car service. I love
Yes.
anytime I see the Kazoo logo. I'm like, what are we doing here, guys?
That's my A because I do think it's a creative logo, but at the same time, that's just hilarious to see on a basketball
It
jersey.
really is. Yeah.
But I really do enjoy the stuff on the side. I love the color combination, and I even like the crest on the top,
Yep.
his right, our left.
hmm
I think it is a relatively clean look, and again, like you said, it's still one of those that I think it's just clean comparatively to European
Yep.
basketball. If
Yep.
we saw something like this in the NBA, it probably wouldn't get as much of a pass. But
Yep.
for the sport and the genre that we're in right now, this is actually probably the one we've highlighted that I like the most.
Right. I absolutely. Yeah. I kind of like the numbers too. Kind of like the double. I don't really know what you would call that, but like the just like a double layered number. I don't know. It kind of looks clean.
Yeah, it looks
You
a
know.
hell of a lot better than Russian nesting doll
That is
shamrocks.
too. Yeah,
So
that's very
I'll
true.
tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. The Russian
I'll tell
nest.
you that for free, no tax.
No tax. All right, Benny. What do you got? What do you got for your last pick here?
All right, my final pick. This is Saski Basconia in Spain. That is just I don't like him. I have no other way to put it. Um, there's something about, especially in basketball, vertical stripes
Yep.
that just look terrible. And this guy, I'm assuming raising his fist in protest to have to wear these. I mean, these just aren't good. I don't like even the way that like the numbers play in because you got to figure, especially here, the 11 just slides right into the vertical stripes. And then even with the combo of like, I don't know if it's like black or like it's trying to be dark blue, but it looks even darker than the dark blue that is in the shorts.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't really combine as well. And again, we've already talked about not liking the logo of the sponsor across the stomach.
Kazoo.
Correct, Kazoo again. Not liking it across the stomach. On the last one, it wasn't as bad, and I think that's because of the color coordination. But this white on this like blackish blue with the red, and then it almost like because of on the sides being more solid red, it kind of makes you think that the rest of the stripes aren't evenly sized. And it's like it just is aesthetically unpleasing, and I just don't like the way it looks. And for the shorts to be solid, even if they were a different color from the jersey, it just looks like the shorts are a different color from either color that's on the jersey. So I think these are a miss, and vertical stripes should not belong in basketball.
Yeah. They wanted to make it look like a soccer kit. That's all.
Right, and even then, they're no matter how similar you try and make it, them being in the sports respectively that they're in, it's too different. You
Yeah.
can't, you
Yeah.
just can't blend them.
Yeah, this guy looks more like a runner than a basketball player. You know,
Yeah,
that's it. Stripes on a jersey. You're right. Like I'm good with it in what like definitely like soccer and rugby and that sort of thing. I don't, especially with it being different than the shorts. You know, at,
right.
at least these. Believe it or not, my last pick is the same team, but I'm going a different direction with it. But
Okay.
I get the stripes just aren't good. I don't know how else to say it. You know.
And I'm thinking maybe even if the stripes just looked more even, and then even if they did like white shorts or something,
Yeah.
it just I don't know, just whatever combo they're working with here, they shouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. This guy looks like a tall ass dude though. I don't know this guy's
Yeah,
name, but he's
big
a
boy.
big dude. Big dude. Uh, all right. Let's end it with my third pick. Also going with
Number
Sasky
three, my lord.
Baskonia. So this is a bold one. I'll say that. Again, this is one that can probably they can get away with it in Europe, not here. Again, Kazoo, hilarious sponsor to have. Um, Having said that, out of all the things that they could have done, I don't hate these, and it's because it's European basketball. The tiger stripes are interesting, but at the very least, they made it mostly white to match the shorts. Because of that, I don't hate it. It kind of has like kind of a camo look to it. In the best way, it kind of looks like a wrap that you would put on your car in Need for Speed. Um, and
That's an excellent reference.
yeah, I don't know though. I think Puma did a decent job on this. I know Puma's not big into basketball. I don't hate these. It's different enough where I can respect it. But again, they can only get away with it over there.
And I'll tell you what, I think why I feel the same way as you do is because they didn't make the shorts red or dark blue.
Yeah.
I think because they kept it white and the base of the jersey was white, and I even like the rings around the sleeves
Mm-hmm.
being that dark blue. And they still separate the sizes enough
Yep.
to where you're not looking for all of those stripes to be the same size. Whereas in the vertical ones you are here, it's supposed to be kind of random and just have colors coordinate. So I actually do, believe it or not, like these. I'm not saying they're
Mm-hmm.
my favorite,
Mm-hmm.
but I actually do enjoy them, and it's something that I don't think without the sponsorships, I could see like an Olympic team
Yep.
adopting something that looks like this
Yep.
or something like that. So I don't think it's that far fetched, and I think that it's a good one. And Sassy Sasky Bisconia has gotten two references,
Yeah.
which is probably the most they've ever got on a show that isn't in Spain ever.
Yeah.
So maybe hey, everybody out there, because we know you're watching, especially now because we're taking over YouTube because the Pat McAfee show just got picked up by ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that we get to move in. So,
That's
like,
right.
shout
Yeah.
out to the boys at the Pat McAfee show, but now we own YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. People were saying that. It's not us saying that. That's just what everyone
hey,
else is
it's
saying.
just the scuttlebutt.
Yeah.
And it's just rumors flying around. Stephen A was talking about it. He texted me earlier today and
Uh,
been, a lot of scheduling conflicts
yeah.
trying to get him on the show. But
Yeah.
essentially, I mean, we have the deed to YouTube now. So
Yeah.
thanks, Pat McAfee.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll give a tip of the cap to you, Pat. I gotta say too, you can't see it in this one or really your pick. Baskonia, they got a pretty sick logo, dude. It's a ram. The ram goes hard.
I haven't been able to like file it down and look at it specifically,
Yeah,
but
give it a quick Google after we get off this. They for a basketball team, dude, they kind of pulled it off. I'm not gonna lie, not gonna lie.
nice.
But
Good job, Sasky Bisconia.
Sassy Sasky, can't even say that.
Sassy Sasky Bisconia down there at the point.
Down there. All right, we'll wrap it up. Benny at AS Monaco with I'm not gonna lie, I hate those. I don't hate the Panathinaikos. Is that Nikos?
Hey,
Whatever,
better
dude.
than anything we can get until we get a translator.
Yeah. Then we got Sassy Sasky over in Spain. Real Madrid, Alba Berlin, which I like my last two a lot. The Real Madrid ones are so simple that anyone can do it, and I know why they did it. But I kind of like my last two because they are different enough. Super European look. Let me say.
Yeah, I feel like you went with the cleaner ones, and I went with the ones that were easier to pick apart negatively.
Yeah.
So I think still ended up being a good balance for Euro basketball.
Oh, yeah. Now, I think there's probably a lot to dig into here, too, but like I don't know how much we'll really talk about European basketball. It just no one really does.
This is probably it. Unless those of you watching at Sasky Bisconia want to come on and we can talk and because I know we have a real big following in Spain. So
who knows? Who knows, dude? Maybe we do. Maybe we will after this because no one else talks about
and
them,
again, all you got to do is pull up your homepage on YouTube, and we're the face of it in the sports category now because Pat McAfee moved to ESPN or is moving to ESPN. So we're taking over.
Taking over, dude. Again, it's not us saying it. It's just what the Screets are saying, dude.
We are just relaying what the Screets have been telling us.
Yeah, so not us, dude. Benny, as always, it's always a pleasure doing this with you.
Same here, man. Have fun at your concert.
Thank you.
And also, I hope the Celtics lose, but respectfully. Anyway, good luck. And everybody here, appreciate you watching. And we will see you next week.
Yep. Peace.